I tell you, Jamie, seriously, after all of those monsters that we've just looked at, all of the elder dragons as well, this one here seems a little less substantial, but that is not the case in the sense of me feeling that this is a bit of respite. I feel like we need some extra gear in order to take down those big beasts.
We need to go and rearm.
In the Hunter's Arsenal.
We do.
So
Okay.
what have we got in here then?
So we have, as with most expansions, an additional rulebook, which basically tells us special rules for these hunters specifically.
Oh, so this is actually a hunter upgrade. There's different types of hunters in here.
There are.
Ah, sick.
So these are 6 additional player characters you can play as from the start of your campaign. So you could take one core box, or any of the core boxes, and all the other dragons. Instead of playing with the hunters in those sets, you could play with any or all of these hunters in your campaign instead.
Okay.
And this gives you all the rules to play with those hunters instead of those other hunters in the first place.
Okay, so it adapts all of the quests as well, the arena stuff.
Yeah, so this is the arena quests from the 2 core boxes.
Yep.
So if you want to play Baroth, who's in Wilds by Waste, and you want to play with these hunters,
That's what you would actually equip them with.
They'd be in there. Okay.
Very cool.
So we have 6 additional player characters you can play as.
Okay.
So this is the light bowgun. This is a heavy bowgun in Wilds by Waste.
Very cool, that. Like a repeater crossbow style thing.
Yeah.
And almost like, looks like a spiny drake scale plate stuff.
I think that's the Rathalos armor.
A Rathalos armor, amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And then we have the gun lance,
Wow.
who I think he's wearing the Jaguar's armor.
That is pretty hefty indeed. Again, I love what you guys have done with the model designs on this. They feel so full of personality.
And we have the longsword.
That's sick as well. What weapon is this from?
So this is the longsword. So this is it's kind of like the
Oh, sorry, I thought
giant
the
samurai
yep.
sword. Type deal.
Wow.
And you have the lance.
Okay.
So this is probably your most heavily armored hunter.
This is actually my favourite so far.
Yeah?
This looks incredible. Because I always like playing sort of like high DPS characters in pretty much anything that I play. So anything that is tanky or has the ability to take a few hits and then dish out the punishment afterwards, that is how I roll basically.
So in addition to the gun lance, this is probably one of the most unique weapons in Monster Hunter World. This is the hunting horn. So this is a combination of a hammer and a bagpipe.
Yeah.
Sometimes known as the battle duder.
Battle duder. Oh wow. I mean, he's wielding it in style there.
So this hunter actually comes with their own token set.
Yeah.
So this hunter has these tokens here. So what these are is, when this hunter's making attacks, they can play attacks in a certain order to play a tune or play some notes.
Amazing.
And if they play in a certain combination, then they can play a song and they get an effect. And this marks the hunters that are being affected by that song.
So they're supporting their fellow team,
Exactly.
but also making a battle dude as well at the same time. Amazing.
Exactly. And then we have the hammer as well.
Simple, effective, and utterly deadly. Yeah. That is amazing. So obviously the question arises: which is your favourite out of the Hunter's Arsenal?
That's genuinely quite difficult. I think it's probably the hammer for me because it's in some ways it's quite a simple weapon. It has the most stun of any hunter in the game in its base deck. I think the great sword, as an example, has 2. The hammer comes in with 6. So
because we were talking about this off camera, that the idea of having stun against certain monsters is very useful because it's the most universal ability amongst all of the hunters, and it allows you to obviously impact monsters that you're fighting.
Correct.
And some of them, like you were saying before, are actually immune to stun, and you feel like that's playing the game on hard mode at that point because you kind of rely on that to get the monsters or beasts tamed.
Yeah, it's something you've kind of relied upon up until that point as like something we can fall back on. At least we can stun the monster, which is difficult. And then certain monsters like Diablos or Nergigante totally immune to stun, so you don't even have that in your favour.
That's going to be rough.
It is. So yeah, and then with, as you'd imagine, quite a lot of cards that you can play.
There is a lot
with.
of cards there.
So this includes all their base decks, it includes all of their upgrades for playing them with the Wilds by Waste or the Ancient Forest core set.
Yep.
So that's all the upgrades needed for those 2 core sets. The only place you wouldn't have cards for these hunters would be in the Elder Dragons. So like if you play Nergigante, you have all 14 weapons worth of upgrades in the Nergigante set. And these are the Forge reference cards. This is the armors that they can build from the Ancient Forest, and then the Ancient Forest weapons.
And so on and so forth.
And for Wilds by Waste as well.
Amazing, so it puts them
per hunter.
That's really cool.
So what these are kind of like over the course of your campaign is I think of them as like a shopping list.
Yep.
So if I'm playing the gun lance in the Wilds by Waste and I really want to build the Baroth blaster, then I know I've got to build the bone gun lance first, Then the carapace cannon, it tells me the items I need to get along the way.
Yep.
And then it tells me the items I need to get to finally build this.
Got you. Okay, and I assume that they bounce between the core sets in order to achieve these upgrades?
Not necessarily, no. So basically, so this is a weapon built from one specific monster, which is the Baroth.
Got you.
So you would only have to hunt the Baroth to get this monster. You wouldn't have to hunt around different monsters to find parts.
Fair enough.
You want to build this weapon from this monster, go and fight that monster repeatedly.
Amazing. Okay, cool.
Keeps it nice and simple. We didn't want to have you going, say, if I'm playing in the Ancient Forest and there's a weapon I can build from the Rathalos, to go and want parts from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because it means that you then have to have other sets. So you could just play the Ancient Forest on its own and just build weapons from what's there. Or you've got the option to sort of add out and other expansions.
Incredible stuff. So, I mean, how many does this bring our total of playable characters up to?
14.
14. So there is definitely going to be every single playstyle here catered for people at home wanting to go on their own monster hunting quests. So I guess the real hard point is trying to choose which one to go with.
It really is, yeah. It's difficult. So we'll get through some of the decks. So you've got the gun lance.
Yep.
The other thing about these hunters as well is that's a little bit different from Ancient Forest in particular is the hunters in the Ancient Forest is, if any of it was supposed to be our sort of entry level set for Monster Hunter World, it would be the Ancient Forest. Those hunters have unique cards for each of them, but they don't have special rules for the hunters themselves. They're the simplest of the hunters.
Yep.
Each of these hunters has a special rule dictating how it plays.
So this is kind of like the intermediate step you would like to elevate your game and give yourself a new challenge to work with at the same time.
So take example here with the gun lance. You have the gun lance special rules, which tells you get these extra 5 shelling cards that are just nearby your game board. And you have certain attack cards that will tell you to flip shelling cards over because you've literally done it like a stabbing and then shooting attack. And you're using the shells in the gun lance, and that's been expended.
Okay.
And then once those are all gone, your bonus damage is out the window.
Okay. And can you reload in this game?
Exactly. Then you have other cards that like to reload shelling cards, and you have to manage that on top of anything else that you're also doing.
I like that. So it's a new playstyle, but also an extra challenge for those at home looking to sort of push themselves a little bit further.
Exactly. You've got one for the hammer as well. So just the top paragraph there is pretty useful.
So when you play an attack card that inflicts damage, if you select a head body part to attack, this attack gains +1. That is +1 break. So, I mean, it would allow you to get those extra break items that you get for each hunt.
Exactly.
Amazing. Okay, cool.
And this is the one I really want to talk about, which is the hunting horn I mentioned earlier. So what we have here is the hunting horn's special rules, which is just telling you that you have these notes that are on the attacks. So this is a white note, then you have like red notes, and then you have for different weapons a song list. So this is your basic song list.
So it's like a recipe. You're basically trying to follow these bits here.
Exactly. And if you've played attacks that have these symbols on your stamina board, then you get to just pick that effect up.
I love this because you get an attack up. The next time each affected hunter inflicts damage, they draw 2 from their damage deck. Sorry. So that's amazing.
And then you have different song lists for different weapons. So if you fight the Tobi-Kadachi weapons, then you've got the Tobi-Kadachi song list. You have an Anjanath song list.
I just saw something there that's very useful. Can recover 2 lost health.
Yep.
That's good. There's not much sort of like rejuvenation stuff like
not
that
much
in the
at
game.
all. Yeah.
So that's going to be very useful.
And then you have sort of the Yggdrasil song lists, and then you also have song lists for your Elder Dragon weapons as well. They're different and bring in lots of different kinds of effects in. So this is a dedicated support class that will come and do the stuff for your hunters. They also can hit things on their own, and they're kind of like a small hammer. They've got a decent amount of stun, but this is kind of the special source of playing with the hunting horn.
I love that. That's so cool that you've managed to find a way to lean into each class's special abilities like that. Very, very cool indeed.
Yeah. Okay. I could keep going through these, but I'd love for the players to discover it for themselves.
Absolutely fine. But unfortunately, we're going to have to put it away because, again, there is yet more stuff to cover.
There is.